In today's scenario, healthy foods has to play very important role for each and everyone and for the entire community. Especially in this post-COVID scenario, the healthy foods, nutrients and the immunity has taken the focus in the society, and India is bestowed with more than 8,000 herbal medicinal plants which are very good for the healthy foods, and India has a diversified climatic conditions where we can produce lot of healthy foods for the snacks and in other forms. Government is helping in promoting the healthy foods and extending lot of financial assistance and support to the startups, and I wish there are many young brigades there, startups are there, and they can also venture into the healthy food production and the processing. One more thing I want to draw here, that we have to develop many food products in the range of healthy foods. We have available fauna and flora which can be helpful in the supply chain for formulating the various healthy foods. And I again wish to thanks to the Farmville group. They have successfully worked in the last 7 years and achieved lots of landmark. And again, congratulations to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again. Our associate partners, Australian almonds, American pecans, American quality pistachios, Chili Prunes Association and Walnut Chili. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the first session of this evening. I'm sure you're all eagerly awaiting this one. Please get ready for Nutritionist Insights by Ms. Kavita Devgan, 6 bestsellers, nutritionist and weight management consultant who propagates practical, effective and delicious ways to achieve a healthy lifestyle. She is an acclaimed dietitian with 25 plus years of experience as a weight loss, holistic health and wellness consultant. Can we please welcome Ms. Kavita Devgan on the stage with a big round of applause for the first session of this evening.
And as Sir mentioned, in post-COVID area, this has actually become a necessity. So, I am obviously a nutritionist, so I'm going to give you nutrition gyan. That is a side effect of my profession. So I want to begin by asking just one simple question from everybody. How many of you snack in between meals? Just raise your hands. Is everyone being honest, really? Okay, now this was just a warm-up question. The real question I want to ask is, how many of you feel guilty after snacking? That is the main crux that I really want to. Now no one is being honest. You can nod, no one will come to know. The point is, we've demonized snacking way too much, which is why I'm so glad we are having this summit here today. We Indians are notorious for our China stuff. You guys have just come back after a big session outside of eating. And most of the snack, I agree, is lethal for our waist and our health. You know, it's along the likes of chivras and samosas and then goes up. I've seen somebody eat a whole masala dosa and call it a snack. So we tend to go wrong when we snack. That doesn't mean snacking is wrong. That just means we are probably doing it wrong. Which is why this session here, or this talk, quick talk, I will only take about 15 minutes of your time, guilt-free. When we snack, when we snack, how do we tame the snack attack? I mean, when the urge comes, it just comes and you need to eat. We all know that. Then you eat whatever is there in front of us. So how can one make sure that we handle the snack attack times the right way? What are the red flags that can make sure that we don't mess up? I know so many people who are so careful in their meals, but they end up eating many more calories and much more junk in between their meals. And those are food decisions that are not thought out, so they're not accountable. So if you're not even counting at least 60% of what you're eating every day, are you even aware of what you're eating? So snacking is a very, very important part of our diet. We cannot wish it away. And why should we wish it away? I just mentioned the benefits. It's something to use for our advantage. And to use for our advantage, there are certain red flags that we should all be aware of, and we must take care of them in a smart way, which is what I call smart snacking. So, which is the first red flag? I'm sure there are 5 here that I've, because this is a small talk. So there are 5 which I've identified here. By the end of it, everyone would identify with at least 2 or 3, if not 5. So rate yourself on 1 to 5 by the end of it. And you don't have to tell anyone, but I would just like you to do this small exercise. So this is the first red flag that we see. Snacking on the go. How many of us do that? I call it munching as we are cruising. We are munching when we are sitting in the car. We are munching when we are in the flights. We are munching when we are going from one place to the other, from one room to the other. On the go munching, which is the opposite of sitting down and eating, is a big red flag, and it happens all the time. So how can we counter that? The first thing is, again, be prepared. You don't know on which day the gap between your meals could be longer than anticipated. It happens to us all the time. You had your breakfast at 8, but by the time you manage to reach and eat your lunch, it could probably be 3 or 4. You should not. Why should you stay hungry during the meal time? But if you're prepared, you will eat a right snack. So stay prepared all the time. You should always have something handy with you, which you can carry, which is portable. So keeping a box of American pecans ready with you is the second solution. It's a solution because if you're prepared, this is what you're going to eat. If you know that maybe after your lunch, your dinner is at least 5 hours away, and you will feel hungry in between. Why American pecans? Simple rules, simple facts. 30 grams of American pecans, which is about 19 halves, give you 200 calories. Remember the 200 calorie rule that I mentioned for snacks? 3 grams protein, 3 grams fiber, and more than 19 vitamins and minerals. It is lowest in carbs and highest in dietary fiber per serving amongst the nuts. And it gives satiety and covers the nutrient needs effectively. So this is a food which can be a perfect munching partner as you are on the go. This is just one suggestion, of course. You can choose your own munching partner, but the first point, be prepared. You have to be prepared for these on the go times. Very, very, very important. Is to eat to solve a deficiency. Now, we are a country where non-communicable diseases are at an all-time high. We are the diabetes capital of the world. Heart attacks are happening in very young. Inflammatory disorders are very, very high. And we are also, ironically, we are a country where Ayurveda and used to rule the roots. But the gut issues today are also at an all-time high. Similarly, bone disorders or osteoporosis or arthritis are also on a very high plank. So it is very important, like I mentioned in the beginning, to include snacks in our diet. Basis our requirement. So if you have a certain problem or a gap in your diet, instead of looking for a supplement right away, why not try to include a snack that can fill that gap for you? Because like I mentioned, whole or unrefined or real food is actually the true solution that one must look for even before figuring out or trying out any other option. So if this is what you're looking for, then chilled rooms could be your solution, because studies after studies have shown us that they have compounds in them, namely sorbitol, insoluble and soluble fiber both, which have been proven to be great for the gut and also normal laxatives. So for example,
in my mind, the biggest challenge is that in the current scenario, it is essentially captured in three key terms. It is taste, it is trust, and it is finally, affordability. Any brand that is, able to touch on three of them will be able to actually hit it out of the park. But in reality, what is happening right now is that if we claim to be healthy, a lot of times brand, Raymond will be here in some time. He has actually told that a lot of things that claim to be healthy are not really healthy. And we really need to track that. And if we do that as brands, we definitely get that customer trust. So point number one, right? Second is, of course, one needs to be tasty, right? A lot of times, healthy brands, we have our own doubts whether they will be tasty or not, and customers also tend to not buy them when they are ready to move to snack. And hence, if you're tasty, you're healthy, and finally, a lot of times these tasty, healthy brands are not affordable, right? So the code to crack is, can you be tasty, can you be healthy, and can you be affordable enough to fit into my pocket? Then I think, the healthy snacking brands will definitely save off.
Yeah, absolutely. Brother, do you have any thoughts on that?
I hope I am audible. Is that good? Yeah. I think firstly, for any new snacking brand, the biggest challenge is to create a category for snacking. I think as we just heard from Dr. Bharat as well, that traditional ways are not healthy. And there are not a lot of people who are aware of it. So I think the first sort of task is to create that awareness, create that category. I think farmers done a good job in it. But there's a lot to be covered, and I think that's the biggest challenge I see the new brands facing.
Right. Absolutely. Nikhil, some of your thoughts. I mean, we will just quickly cover this and then we'll come to some of the questions that we have.
Thanks, Viksit. So I think in addition to what the rest of the panelists have said, I think the additional challenge in front of brands, the new age brands categorically speaking, is to be sustainable in their growth journey, because you're going against the likes of large multinationals who have taken that mind space as well as shelf space for the consumers, so there's an access challenge as well. And so just be sustainable, and this is a great cause. And as Ms. Kavita has also mentioned, just ensure that you are there at that snack attack.
Right, absolutely. Last but not least, MG, please. You just have questions. I think you'll be in yes.
I see in a different way. It is not a challenge for the new age brand.
Mm-hmm.
It is an opportunity. like FMCG big companies, work on the right time where the consumer needs. Because in India there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of events where you can create the opportunity of our health stacking.
Right.
In every day you can see in the morning, evening, and now the nutritionists, the doctors are helping you to create, because they are also creating awareness. And after we have seen the COVID, this journey is become very much easier.
Absolutely.
So I see this as an opportunity, not a challenge. And it would be a challenge for the big FMCG companies or big companies. When you create the market, then they will say they were entering, then you see a challenge. Right now I don't see it.
That's really good to hear. I think that would be very exciting for all of our partners also who joined us here to kind of understand it as an opportunity rather than challenges. So, kind of going ahead in that direction, we briefly touched upon, creation of category and discoverability, etc. Typically, the route that people normally take or new age brands take is between, let's say, a marketplace where you list your products or you go B2C. So, Gautam, my question is to you. I mean, in your view, what is the likely strategy that a young brand should ideally take between marketplace and B2C, and what are the benefits that each of these have to offer? What is it that you can take away from each of these categories or something, or each of these platforms rather, is something that I like.
Yeah, actually that's quite a sort of dilemma. There is no right or wrong, but each channel has its own merits and demerits. But I do feel that for newer brands, marketplaces provide sort of a quicker access to customers, quicker access to feedback, so that you can go back, work on your product, come up with better sort of assortment. The website itself obviously has huge potential, but it takes time. So I think my suggestion for any new age brand is to sort of go out to a marketplace, understand what the market is, what are they demanding, and customers give great feedback. So I think marketplace is a good starting point.
Absolutely. One other point that I probably was thinking when we were discussing about this backstage was, the voice of customer also becomes very important, right? And one of the best ways to capture that VOC is the D2C channel, is what we figured out at Farming. We've got a lot of great insights about some of our products just by listening to what customers have to say. So I think that is one key point that everybody should ideally keep in their minds, to probably not give up on D2C as such and focus on marketplaces in parallel. I think that is probably the right approach. While we discuss about marketplaces, Pankaj, I mean, nobody can skip Amazon. It is something that you guys have started. So I also personally try to manage Amazon as much as I can. So there's a lot of data going around, right? There's so much to take in, and there's a lot of yarn also available online. Right? You should do this, you should look at this metrics, you should look at this, etc., etc. And there's a whole lot of videos. But it is always better to hear from the horse's mouth. So, in your opinion, I mean, if a young brand, or if any brand for that matter, has to ace Amazon, let's say, or has to do well on Amazon, keep building sustainably, what are the top 5 things that somebody should be focusing on? And if you kind of keep doing that continuously, sustainably, you're bound to get some results.
Okay, so, see, the thing is that when it comes to any marketplace or when it comes to growing an e-com business, end of the day it boils down to just 2 metrics, right? Which is traffic and conversion. Are you able to get enough eyeballs? Amazon has selection that runs into lakhs, right? Where does your selection stack up over there, right? So that's point number 1 where the brands need to look into, which is Amazon is getting a lot of traffic, Amazon gets a lot of interest. For that matter, Flipkart gets a lot of interest, and Zepto and Blinkit as well. But where does my selection stack up, and where do I stand in lakhs of selection over there? That's point number 1, right? Point number 2 is conversion. You may get traffic, right? You might, and the ways to get traffic, I'll come back on again when I list down to 5, which is you will get traffic when you invest in AMS, you get traffic when you invest in certain visibility assets, or you will redirect traffic. But at the end of the day, you got traffic. But are you able to convert it, right? And when it comes to converting the traffic, it is very, very important from a healthy brand point of view to give enough information to the customer. Right? If, for example, the customer lands up on your detail page and he just sees healthy snack and no nutritional information, that's an aware customer, right? So the customer will want more information, and hence your cataloging and your content needs to be on the top of its game, right? Add to that then, which is then Amazon goes to almost 99% of the pin codes. How many pin codes will you be able to go to, right? And hence, the entire metrics then start stacking up. And then you realize that, first of all, I need to ensure I get traffic. When I need to get traffic, I need to ensure my EMS is on point, right?
Right.
Which means my GPs need to be on point. That's what metric number one. Then second, I need to ensure there is conversion. Before conversion, I need to get my content right, which means my ITQ scores need to be right, which is item data quality. Right? It is a certain metric that is tracked across the marketplaces. Flipkart के लिए अलग होगा, किसी और के लिए कुछ अलग होगा, but largely ask the category manager what my ITQ score is, right? Then it again becomes a function of your delivery timelines, which is, are you reaching enough pin codes and within a certain timeline, which is what's my RIS or LIS percentage, and what is my 1 day to day delivery time, right? And finally, then it all boils down to selection at Amazon. Our flywheel starts from there. Hence, do you have enough selection that is required to capture this particular category? Which means after you have done the first 4 with your current selection, revisit your selection and find out what your gaps are. So that's my point.
And as you're here, we need a picture with you, of course. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much once again. Thank you. All right, we need this perfect picture right now.